Welcome to 4D Communication Skills, Activate Your Communication Mojo. I'm really looking forward to sharing with you in this series of videos some of the key skills which have empowered me to not only be a more effective communicator, but have enriched many areas of my life: personal relationships, intimate relationships, my business, etc., etc. So I really believe that these skills will help build a platform for you to being a more effective communicator. So the first concept here is one that's very rarely talked about in communication, but it's this: to communicate in terms of other people's values. Quite often our natural instinct is to talk and communicate with people in terms of what's highest in our values. So if we're in a situation and children is our highest value, we may go into a situation where people whose children isn't their highest value, and we talk to them about children. It may be we go and do the same. Maybe work's our highest value, maybe fishing is our highest value, or playing cricket. And we go in and we start into a social or a business situation, and we start to talk to people in terms of our highest values and not theirs. So the key is here the concept that everyone has a different hierarchy of values, and actually your hierarchy of values will actually determine the destiny of your life, as indeed will how well and effectively you communicate. So I'll give you a great illustration of this, a real story. So I like to keep this real, and this hopefully will give you a great illustration of how to actually implement this concept. There was a lady who went on one of our courses, and she came back to us shortly afterwards. Not only gave us a great testimonial, but she told us a really cool story about something that happened to her shortly after the course. And that was, she was in a queue in a supermarket, and it was quite a long queue, and people were getting a bit bored and frustrated waiting. And there was a young lad just ahead of her in the queue, and he was with his mother, and who had another young child to look after. And this young boy, she said, was about 12 or 13 years of age, and he was banging and crashing around with the trolleys and hitting the counter, and just making a general nuisance for himself, making a noise, and really frustrating a lot of the other customers. And a couple of the customers actually said under their breaths to the mother words to the effect of, you know, why can't you control your child? And this lady, she went up to the boy, and she noticed he had a Manchester United football top on. And she's not particularly interested in football herself, but she said, "Oh, so you like football, do you? You're a Man United supporter?" He said, "Yeah, Man United, the best team in the world." And she said, "Oh, great." She said, "Who's your favourite player?" And he pointed to the back of his shirt where it said Rooney. He said, "Wayne Rooney." And she said, "Oh, why do you think he's the best player?" And she proceeded to have this really engaging conversation with him about Wayne Rooney and how many goals he'd scored and various other things about Man United. And she was then really, really clever, because she asked a question. She said, "Do you think Wayne Rooney's a good role model for young children?" And he said, yeah. She said, "Well, why do you think he's a good role model?" He said, "Well," he thought about it, and he said, "Well, he does all the press interviews after the matches, and he has to be on the team bus on time, and he has to be to training on time, and he has to conduct himself in a certain way. He's not allowed to drink before games." And this woman and this young boy had this wonderful conversation, and she said you could actually see his state of mind changing as he had this conversation, as he thought about, I wonder how some of this is applicable to me. And needless to say, when she went back into her place in the queue, young boy completely changed his behaviour. Not only was he not banging and crashing around and making a noise, he was actually asking his mother if he could help her. And so he proceeded to help her unpack the trolley and repack it in the bags, and off they went. And this is a great example of how you can actually use this concept in your everyday life. And what I'm really looking forward to sharing with you in the next video is the key to this particular concept, which is how do you actually know what someone else's highest values are. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you in the next video.